Well, I'm here today to explain to you why I love GCA. Because when you go to a brick and mortar school, there's a lot of distractions in the classroom, and the teacher is always having to discipline the kids, and she can't really teach as much. So whenever you go home, you're loaded with homework of the work you didn't do in class that day. But at GCA, there's never distractions. You're always working, because the teacher doesn't have to discipline the kids because they don't have the control of the class. She does, unless she gives you that privilege of being able to talk on the microphone or to write on the board or any other type of privilege. And so that's why I like GCA, because you're always learning. You work for a good 8 hours, and then when you go home, you don't have to work even more on homework. You worked your 8 hours that day, and then you go home and you relax.
Juliette, so your education is extremely important to you, and you want the most out of that you can get. So this framework, this environment allows you to work at your own pace if you want to go a little faster.
For example, I'm in 8th grade right now, in 8th grade math, because I get to be in accelerated math, when right now I'm only in 7th grade. So I can work ahead at my own pace.
That's fantastic. Now, how long have you been doing this?
I started last year, so this year's my 2nd year.
And you're really enjoying it, aren't you?
A lot.
Does it allow you to talk with mom and dad, or to communicate with mom and dad, maybe to talk about some of the lesson plans that you're seeing and ask questions? Or are you pretty comfortable on your own working through the internet or through the computer with the teacher or the advisor on the other side?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I work with my teachers, and I also work with my mom to plan out the day, but they give us what we're supposed to do for the month. But my mom helps me stay on track and not get distracted, but the teachers are what teach me my day.
That's fantastic. So there is a lot of parental involvement, Lois.
Not very much as we desire. However, explain very closely how your day is split up. You have 4 hours of...
I have my 4 different calendars for the month of what I have to do in it's called the monthly instructional calendar for each subject. And it has each day planned out, and I have what they call OLS, which is our online school. And we do our classes in the morning, and then we go take our OLS, which has a lesson if we need it, and it gives us maybe 5 or 10 questions to make sure we understand it, and you have to get an 80 or above to pass. And we do that every day, and you spend 1 hour. I choose to spend 1 hour on each subject, and then we have USA Test Prep and Study Island, which is just something else that helps us also.
It's all practical work, but I think it's very important to understand that they are in class. Explain how you are in class every day from 8:30 to 12:30.
Well, 8:30 to 9:45 is my ELA Class Connect, where I have my teacher, Miss Cooper, and then I have Miss Brooks, and I have Mr. Kawadzzi and Miss Lewis.
So she has ELA, math, science, and social studies daily.
And they're live. So
they're live classes. It's truly like being in a classroom, and the computer screen becomes a blackboard with all those tools Juliette was mentioning.
If you get them. If you are proved to be a student who won't just scribble all over the board and be disrespectful.
Gotcha.
Because that's just distracting.
Because you're there to work. You're there to learn.
Right, and truly GCA makes every effort to adapt the learning experience to the student level. It's the only experience that we've really had where it's truly 100% true. So Juliette is in advanced math. She's in an advanced program entirely, but we have moved heaven on earth trying to find a true program that would adapt the learning to her skills, and that's the only school that would allow it.
And so this program is a perfect fit for Juliette.
Perfect fit. Truly an individualized learning plan.
And there's also other kids in my class with me. There's like 100 kids in my class with me.
So you're still making friends.
Yeah, and I also get socialization. We don't really talk in class with our friends. It's not something we can do because we don't just constantly have that microphone privilege. So I get my socialization at dance and orchestra and my different activities. Because in brick and mortar school, you normally go to school to socialize there, and there's never much learning, and that's why the teacher always has to get mad at us, or the kids that are talking, and we don't learn. And this is what's great about this school, is you talk a little bit, but not the whole class, and you're still learning, but you get your socialization around a certain activity of smarts. Or
Gotcha. So, Lawrence, I would ask you and your husband, JR, sitting back and seeing Juliette excel, how does this make you feel as a parent? And are you able to see tangible improvements, or something that's challenging her?
Absolutely. Actually, we have never spoken as much about learning again. And yes, tangible results in math. I mean, everything in GCA is measured. Data is everything. Every time she connects on a Class Connect, it is automatically logged in. The time she spends in every classroom is measured.
and recently they've just started
Attendance is
something.
measured also. What else did they
They've
start?
recently just started in our Class Connect, just because sometimes what they would do is they'd take a screenshot of the names, and some of the kids would have already gone, or some of them watched the recording. So now they put a link in the recording or in the live session. It's a little document that you do to make sure you were there, that you just fill out, say I was in the class, and you send it to the teacher to say, so that she knows you were there.
So it's also an accountable program as
It's
well.
absolutely
The student has to be
accountable. The student is accountable. Everything is recorded, tracked. We can go back to every class if it went a little too fast. Every single class is recorded for the entire year. So, I mean, for me, it's a phenomenal program. We're back to talking about true learning, true curriculum. We're talking about countries, geography, history. We're talking about math. We're talking about science. We're talking about everything, again, that has to do with education and school. We're not coming home talking about the problem and the drama with the children and what happened that caused just anger or frustration. We're only talking about education.
You made an interesting point. Every lesson, every class is recorded. So if you wanted to go back and refresh, you could go back and view a class and maybe sit back through that lesson plan, correct?
That's right. That's
And just
absolutely
the
right.
other day, another thing I was saying to my mom as I was getting ready for my social studies class, and I said, "Hey Mom, can you believe this? I'm actually using a textbook," because in public school, in brick and mortar school, they never tell you to pull out a textbook.
Fantastic.
Whereas here, we
I
actually
use one every day.
At the beginning of the school year, we receive a 50-pound box, literally, with all the books, everything that the child might need. And that depends also according to certain families. There are different needs. But everybody gets the same books. Some children get computers, microphones. We provided that, but
They sent me a microscope at the beginning of the
they
year.
really?
That's the funnest part. You
Wow.
get to get all your different things. I got like bacterias and
Wow.
microscope.
And
Little
so you've
pewter
got your own
dishes.
little classroom, not only on the computer screen, but right there in your home setting as well.
that's correct. But that's what a lot of people worry about is, will the child truly have a classroom experience where the student can really interact with the teacher and other students? Well, that's where I think that the experience is so marvelous, because these students who attend their Class Connects, and they do have to, because again, attendance is reported. So in a matter of 3 seconds or even 1 second, if the teacher gives the writing privilege to all the students at once, you can have 100 answers on the screen in a matter of 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And you have all of this phenomenal brain power all of a sudden just displayed right there in front of your eyes on the screen with 100 different answers. And they all matter. So it's really terrific. We are thrilled with the program.
That is fantastic.
Another thing is sometimes you don't have those tools, so they have what you call a little chat box at the bottom where you can chat directly to your teacher, and that's always open, just for you to have a private chat with your teacher if you have a question, if you don't understand something.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you both, Laurence and Juliette, for
Thank
coming
you.
and helping me understand GCA better. What a great program. And it seems to me like you are just doing wonderfully. You're excelling, you're working at your own pace. And it sounds to me also like you're a great spokesperson for GCA as well. So thank you very much for coming down to your capital
you.
today.